The call came while I was folding laundry, the kind of ordinary task that makes bad news feel procedural. My mother didn't sound angry. She sounded managerial. There were numbers involved, guest limits, seating symmetry, optics. She said my presence would complicate things. She said my sister deserved a flawless moment. She said it would be easier if I didn't attend. Listened long enough to recognize the shape of the argument. It wasn't cruelty, it was efficiency. I told her I understood because, in that moment, I did. I meant it in the way people mean it, when they've practiced not needing much. After that, the family calendar moved forward without me. Group chats buzzed with menu tastings and fittings. A villa was booked with a view that looked expensive even through screenshots. My name didn't come up, which I told myself was a mercy. When you're not invited, you don't have to decline. I had already planned a trip to Italy months earlier, work-related, a paperwork-heavy necessity that happened to require my presence. My partner and I decided to do the civil ceremony while we were there. Made sense. 2 witnesses, a municipal office, documents stamped with practiced indifference. We didn't tell anyone. It wasn't secrecy. It was scale. There was nothing to announce. The day arrived quietly. We walked through a piazza that smelled like coffee and hot stone. The clerk wore sneakers and had an expression that suggested she'd seen every version of love and found them all mildly interesting. We signed where she pointed. Someone, our witness's cousin, I think, took a photograph when we stepped outside. The light was unplanned. My hair was doing whatever it wanted. I wasn't trying to look triumphant. I was trying not to squint. Posted the photo later that afternoon without a caption. No hearts, no date. I put my phone away and went back to work. Went viral the way accidents do, not with a bang but with a series of taps that kept happening while I slept. By morning, the comments had multiplied into a story I didn't recognize. People called it elegant, defiant, cinematic. Saw symbolism in the stone steps and restraint in the absence of flowers. They wrote their own endings. I didn't correct them, add context. The image was doing something on its own, and I wasn't interested in steering it. My family found out through the internet. That detail mattered more to them than the marriage itself. Texts came in waves, first congratulations, then confusion, then a kind of retroactive inclusion. My mother wrote that she wished she'd known. Sister sent a heart and a question mark. No one mentioned the phone call. No one said my name next to the word invited. The authority entered on a Tuesday, unmistakable and practical. An email with a signature block longer than the message. Verified editor from a major publication asked for permission to license the photograph for a feature on modern civil weddings in Italy. People were choosing legality over spectacle, intimacy over performance. There were terms attached. Credit lines that arrived on time and without apology. I read the contract twice, then once more aloud to hear how official it sounded. Signed, not because I needed the money, though I didn't mind it, but because the request named something concrete. This wasn't validation from strangers. It was recognition from an institution that didn't know my family and didn't need to. The feature ran the same weekend as my sister's wedding. I knew because my phone lit up in that particular way that signals overlap. Photos from the villa appeared beside screenshots of the article. 2 events occupying the same scroll, unrelated except by timing. Post. I didn't comment. I watched the algorithm arrange them next to each other and felt, for the first time in weeks, no urge to explain myself. Afterward, the recalibration began. Invitations to dinners that felt like rewrites. apologies that hovered and then veered into anecdotes. My mother said she hadn't realized how things would look. Sister said she hoped there were no hard feelings. I said things were fine because, in a narrow and newly accurate way, they were. Wasn't looking to extract anything. I already had what I needed. Opportunities followed the feature, small, professional, unglamorous in the best way. A panel invitation. A licensing request from a travel archive. My name circulating without modifiers, without family context. When people asked about the photo, I talked about the building, the clerk, the heat. I kept the story plain, never confronted anyone. I didn't need to. The power wasn't in the telling, it was in the fact that the world had seen me without my family's permission, that it had happened quietly, without me reaching for it, mattered more than any apology could. I still think about the phone call sometimes, the way my mother said my presence would ruin the moment. I think about how careful I was not to argue. Dignity, I've learned, isn't a performance. It's a habit. You practice it when no one is watching, so it's there when they are. The absence remains, probably always will, but it no longer decides where I stand or how I'm seen or what I allow myself to mark as mine.